Good evening, class. Tonight's discussion will be on the Evangelical Right. The Evangelical Right is how they are now referred to in most political circles. They've been known by various titles throughout political history in the United States. Most recently, in the 70s and 80s, it was the Moral Majority, and in the 1990s, the Christian Coalition. Now largely unorganized, they are still a force to be reckoned with in any major election. Mark Knoll, in a history of Christianity in the United States and Canada, discusses the new religious right. He indicates that three events helped renew Christians to political action in the 1970s and 80s. Number one was the Roe v. Wade decision by the Supreme Court in 1972. The second being the bicentennial celebration of the United States in 1976, and the last being the election of Ronald Reagan in 1980. Hillary Clinton referred to evangelicals as deplorables. Her main complaint with the right was lack of support for homosexual and LGBT rights. However, Donald Trump enthusiastically included evangelical right in his coalition of supporters, and much like Ronald Reagan's statement, which was, "You cannot endorse me, but I endorse you," this statement was so profound that it was included in Section 6 of PBS's God in America series. At times in America, a person's denomination or eschatology helped affect that individual or group's involvement in the political arena. The thought process might go something like, if we won't be here soon, then there's little motivation to remain involved. Also, if we know that events will be getting worse and worse until the rapture, then we may just want to wait for the inevitable. Often evangelicals are forced to balance the morality of candidates against the value of the candidate's position. Many times evangelicals were referred to holding their noses as they vote. One comment regarding the election of Bill Clinton was, quote, "We are electing a president, not a pope." In the 1980 election, while Ronald Reagan was in the midst of his first presidential election, he received the backing of the moral majority. One of the main issues of the era was the degradation of the family. What was frequently pointed out was the high rate of divorce in America. However, Reagan ended up being our first divorced president. More recent illustrations include President Trump's continued backing by the evangelicals after some comments he had made about women were made public, and the support for Roy Moore in the Alabama Special Senate election after allegations regarding him and involvement with underage girls from nearly 40 years ago. The eventual position of many evangelicals is the realization that this country will not be brought back to God by politics. Politics will not typically enforce our moral values. However, what we can do to improve this country by the means of the political process should be done. The evangelical right primarily supports the freedom of religion and freedom of speech and are firmly against big government. They're suspicious of any position which they believe will infringe against their free practice of religion. Even in the current state of disorganization with which the evangelical right now finds itself, the support of the evangelical right has gotten senators and congressmen, governors, and presidents elected. Most recently, the election of Donald Trump as president would likely not have happened without the support of the evangelical right.